All right, here we are. Welcome to Win the Day live stream, where we talk about how to win the day as a real estate agent, buying, selling, helping people buy and sell real estate. Today we got a really good shoe. Destiny Powell is going to tell us about her experience as a newer, younger, less than, shorter, I don't know, whatever, 2-year agent. I don't know what she's going to talk about, to be honest, but I'm going to guess and say it's how she got started, where she's at, and where she's going. How's that for a summary? But she's going to talk about it because I think a lot of people who watch this on the daily are fairly new. And here's a cool thing. If you've been doing it for a minute, like I have, it is often rewarding to hear how new people tell their story, because it either takes you back to where you were and you remember something you had forgotten, perhaps, or it opens you up to something that you weren't smart enough to look at back then. It's really a good thing, at least from my perspective. So having said that, if you have questions, please comment, do whatever you need to do, and we'll get them to Destiny. She'll answer them. But ladies and gentlemen, Destiny,
take it away.
There you go. Say what you got to say.
Good morning, everyone. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you, John, for giving me the space to talk about being a new agent. I do.
Hold on, Jessica. Hello, and Fallon. Fallon, how are you?
Good morning.
Right. Go.
Okay. So thank you for letting me be here today and talk about being a new agent. I agree with you. I do think a lot of us are newer, not as seasoned. And so these are some of the things that have helped me be successful. I had a great year last year. I'm doing even better already this year. And so got some slides. Mr. Mark Simpson's going to help me put up. So slide number 1.
All right.
All right. What to do as a new agent? You have to set yourself up for success early, focus on key strategies to build your foundation, and be intentional and consistent. And this is just the basis of the other slides that we're going to talk about. So slide number 2.
Well, can I pause you? Can I jump in?
Yes, you may.
When you say focus on key strategies to build your foundation, in your mind, what do you mean by foundation?
Foundation, and I talk about in the slides, what type of realtor are you going to be? Because that's going to determine the strategies and how you attack your business. So,
gotcha. So I won't ask questions then. Yeah.
That's okay. Jump anytime. You can.
All right.
Slide number.
This has good ones.
One of the first things I recommend doing is hiring a coach or a mentor. You get what you pay for. Invest in a good coach. There are people who will do this for free because it comes along with your market center. But to me, you will do better and perform better when you are investing in yourself. Coaches and mentors can be set up differently. Some you will have to pay for all up front every month. Some you can pay per transaction. They'll take a percentage out of each of your closings. So find what works best for you. But I do recommend actually invest in a coach or a mentor. Choose someone who will hold you accountable and challenges you. Somebody that is going to help you set up your goals, that will meet with you frequently, even if it's just once a month. Somebody that will meet with you, go over those goals that you discussed previously, and then hold you accountable. Did you meet what you said you were going to do? You don't want a coach that's going to coddle you and say, oh, that's okay, you'll get them next time. No, you want somebody that's going to be tough with you, that pushes you and lights some fire under your butt, even if it makes you cry sometimes. That's happened to me. Your coach should help you get into production quickly. That's the goal, is to sell houses and help people buy houses, not just sit and wait and try to figure things out. So if your coach is not pushing you to get into production as soon as possible, most likely not the coach or mentor for you.
Would you say that a lot focus on the things that they think you should know instead of the things that you should do?
That's a great question, Mark. We are going to cover that in the next slide.
All right. Gosh, there's a theme here. There's a theme here.
Slide number 3. Decide what type of realtor you want to be. When I first got started, I started off part-time. I was still doing a home daycare full-time, taking care of a little boy with special needs. He required a lot of my attention. But
I'm not that little.
Every Zoom meeting that I could be on, I was. If I could go to a showing, he was in the stroller with me. But there came a time where it was time to go full time. And so it's okay to start part time. If you're going to be a part-time realtor, decide what hours of the day that looks like for you. And when you're in that part-time realtor mode, work full-time. Have that full-time mindset. Give it everything. Get rid of all the distractions. If you are giving yourself 3 hours a day to be a realtor and that's all you can do right now, then that's all you should be doing, is giving 3 full hours to your real estate career, not on your phone, not dealing with the kids and the family, not going out and doing the other job or paying attention to other things. Give it all you can during that time. And then knowing your role helps you determine your schedule, the workload you need, and then even your income expectations. If you're going to be a part-time realtor, do you want to make $40,000 to $50,000 a year? Okay, so now I need to make this amount of calls. I need to go on these amount of appointments and open houses, versus if I'm going to be a full-time realtor, do I want to realistically in my first few years make 120 to 200,000 a year? If that's your goal, now these are how many calls I need to make. These are how many open houses I need to go to. These are how many appointments I need to set to meet that expectation. So really decide in the beginning what type of realtor you want to be. What are you comfortable with? What are your income goals? Because then that helps you develop your workload, your structure, even your schedule.
Destiny, I see a lot of new agents who say they're part-time, but really what they are is spare time. And the difference between part-time and spare time, in my definition, is part-time, you punch a clock. It's like you have a part-time job at Lowe's. You don't say, well, I'll show up when I want to show up. A lot of realtors they're doing it in their spare time, nooks and crannies, and there's no focus. That's a waste of time in my belief.
Money, because you're paying to be a realtor, whether you're full-time or part-time. Those monthly dues are going to come out every month. And so if you're investing in that investment, whether it's 3 hours or 10 hours a day, give it all you can. You can't be spare time at all.
We got a question here. And she said, if it's too personal, say so. Would you say you were financially ready to go full time? Some say to have 3 to 6 months set aside or have 3 to 4 sales done.
I love that question. First of all, I'm an open book. You can ask me anything. No, I was not ready, Jessica, to answer your question. And I count that as a blessing, to be honest with you. Nobody told me you needed to have that type of reserve away. Nobody told me when I first started, you pay every month to be a realtor. I wish I would have known that ahead of time, but it was a blessing for me because I had no safety net. I had no backup plan. There was no plan B for me. I had to grind. I'm a single mom of 2 kids and they are expensive. Nobody told me how expensive kids were going to be. And so doing it by myself is even more expensive. And so I had no choice but to knock on doors and make 1,000 phone calls a week. I had no option because I did not have a savings account saved up. So for me, no, I did not have that backup or that reserve. I was not ready, but it helped me be more successful than I think the average newer agent is, because I didn't have the choice.
So here's another answer from a different perspective. Awesome that you're doing it that way. But I would also say you're going into business. I don't know. What are the numbers, Mark? How many realtors fail?
87% of newly licensed realtors will not renew at their first renewal.
And why is that?
I think, they're not getting the sales and they're not perpetually funded. And I think that there is that tension. They're either underfunded or underactive. I'm
pretty sure the reason why most realtors fail is they're undercapitalized. They just simply don't have the money to stay in it long enough for the work to pay off. Okay. That's not to say Destiny's wrong and she made it work. But if you're in real estate, if you're thinking of getting into real estate, you're going to be better served and give yourself a better chance, I believe, if you're fully capitalized. 6 months, I thought 6 months was going to be enough for me. We're 3 years into a 6-month cycle from that standpoint. I think it comes back to, do you need the stick or the fear of not paying your bills or whatever to work, or do you can you do it on your own? And I think it just comes back to, if you join a team, if you go on your own, if you hire a coach, so many factors. But I think it is and I'm glad I work for you, Destiny, but it's a disservice to go into business, I believe, if you're undercapitalized, because you find yourself compromised in a lot of ways that are detrimental. But, there's plenty of people that make it too. So,
yeah, I think part of it's urgency. I know people that are fully capitalized,
right,
whether it's somebody who's got their back, and they don't have any urgency because
they don't have to.
They don't have to. So I think that there is a tension. You're right. Be wise and be prudent. And
it's better to have capital behind you and urgency with you.
It's definitely, that is the preferred choice.
I agree. If I could have that reserve, definitely. And I think, but I know me and my personality, had I had the thousands of dollars sitting in the bank account, I don't think I would have worked as hard. And so I'm grateful for my situation. And, it definitely takes sacrifice, eating ramen noodles and peanut butter and jelly instead of buying steaks from the grocery store. But it was all worth it for me. So great question, Jessica. Thank you.
I've never had ramen noodles and peanut butter together.
It's not a bad combination. Try it. All right. Slide 4 is get into production ASAP, as soon as possible. Don't wait until you know it all. You never will. I remember before I even did my first deal, Mark was my coach, and I went into his office and I said, I'm scared. I've never sold a house before. I've never even bought a house before. I don't know how I'm going to do this. And his response to me was, when are you supposed to know? You don't know until you know it. And so it's get into production. You're not going to have a house to sell if you're not in production. You aren't going to learn those contracts or how to get through inspections and appraisals or anything until you have a house and a transaction. So get into production, start that lead gen now so that you can learn. You learn as you go. I think I have learned the majority of my real estate experience and knowledge because I'm in the field working. First, start with the people you know and then expand. And what that means is everybody, John Moran does this all the time. Everybody that's in here, everybody that you know, you should be calling and introducing yourself to them as a realtor. As Mark would say, cut the ribbon to your business with the people that you know if you haven't already. That conversation can happen super organically so that it does not sound salesy. Just call somebody up and say, hey, I was going through my phone and you came across, just wanted to say hi. I realized we hadn't talked in a while. Does not have to be a long 30-minute conversation because you've got other calls to get through. But I promise you, what are you doing with yourself now? It does come up organically. That's your opportunity that you're in to introduce yourself. Hey, I'm a realtor now. Do you happen to know anybody in the area that's interested in buying or selling, maybe even investing? So let people that you know, that has been, I would say, a good 50 to 60% of my business has come from the people I already know. Key activities to focus on are, again, call your sphere of influence, start hosting open houses, in your farm area. Julie speaks on that a lot. Your farm area is the area that you live close to. Where do you live? You probably already know your neighbors. So introduce yourself to them. Hey, I'm a realtor, in case you didn't know. Start door knocking that neighborhood and then host as many open houses as you can. That is a very inexpensive way to start putting yourself out there. Get to the point where you have those customized signs, but if you don't, a simple open house sign will do as many as you can leading up to that house. One thing that has worked tremendously for me, create a simple open house flyer in Canva if you can, and start sending that out to everybody you know in your phone. What that says is, hey, I'm in production, I'm working. They don't know that that's not your listing. They will a lot of times even say, hey, I can't afford that house. Hey, that's an opportunity for a phone conversation. No, what type of house could you afford? Have you been in the market to look at homes? I've had people respond to those messages saying, hey, I'm not ready to buy, but my coworker is. Can I share your information? Absolutely. You never have to ask that. So host as many open houses as you can. That gives you the opportunity to make a phone call, inviting the neighbors in that farm area to your open house. It puts you in the path of right now buyers who are ready to buy, because they wouldn't be out looking if they weren't. So door knock, connect with those buyers, and host as many open houses. And don't forget those people that you already know. I promise you that's where a lot of your business is going to come from, because they already know you and trust you.
Destiny, a lot of beginners or new agents think that they got to invest in the charcuterie boards and drinks and all of those things for their open house. And what do you say to that?
I laugh because I remember the very first open house I did, you came to, and I had the charcuterie board, however you say that. I had the drink dispenser with the fresh cut lemons, and you said, never do that again, especially for the price point that I was at. It just was not necessary. And I ended up taking all of that stuff home. So one, it was a waste of my money, and two, it went bad anyway. So, I have yet to find somebody come into an open house and say, oh my gosh, these snacks were so great. Thank you so much for this.
They'll follow you around to all your open houses.
They will. And so don't buy the
like realtors with the free lunch.
Yes. What I have started doing, if you want to bring something just to have a candy dish with pre-wrapped candies is always great, or even those pre-packaged chips, because they don't go bad. You can take them again to the next open house with you. Have those little bottles of water with you if you want to have something, those little mini bottles of soda. So that way they don't go wasted, but it is not necessary. I end up bringing most of that stuff home. So don't invest in the snacks and the fancy frills and whistles. It's just not needed in an open house.
Yeah, it reminds me of the people that say, I'm going to Costco for lunch or for the samples. Mm-hmm. They're just coming to get the samples. They're not coming to shop. And right. You're wanting the true home buyers.
Exactly.
Now, if, in my estimation, if you're going to do any snacks or anything like that, do it in the pre-open house for the mm-hmm. homeowners in the area to impress future sellers. Mm-hmm. But that's a kind of a private showing for homeowners in the neighborhood to get into relationship there versus just, I've got to put all this money into an open house.
Right. Exactly.
Ready for the next slide?
I am ready. Let's go. Slide 5, establish an online presence. I would say this is my favorite part because this is right up my alley. People will research you before they reach out to you, and I'm finding that more and more now this year. People will Google you. I've had people at church come up to me and say, hey, I Googled you because you called me. So it works. Set up a Google business profile. What that does is it gives people a place to look because they automatically go to Google first, but it also allows for your past clients to leave reviews for you. A lot of people want to read those reviews. What did other people think about you as a realtor? What was their experience like? So don't be afraid to ask those people that you're working with or have closed with, even if you know them from the past, to leave you a review. Establish a Facebook and Instagram presence. People use LinkedIn and all those other ones. I don't get too much into that. Facebook and Instagram have worked great for me. It's another way for people who don't know you to get online and see, hey, is she in production? What is she doing? How much is she producing? What's her personality like? Is she somebody I want to come and even sit with me and talk with me about buying or selling? So set up your online presence. Be consistent. And that means how often you're posting. Be consistent. You can't post 1 month and then the next month not post because nobody's going to see anything. Your algorithms will get all messed up. So be consistent in the frequency of posting, but also in your image, the colors that you're using, your profile photos, your logos, and even your messaging down to your email footers. You can't change that stuff up all the time. People want to know that they can recognize you and that you're going to be consistent. And it also helps you stay top of mind for them when they're ready to do a real estate meet. So be consistent. Don't catfish your clients. If your picture has been super AI generated and looks nothing like you in person, don't do it. You want them to build trust with you. So don't do that. And, I would say align your online presence with who you are in person. Again, don't show up to a listing appointment completely different from how they've done their research on you. And your appearance, be professional. How you speak and how you carry yourself. Make sure that the two match and that they're, again, consistent with each other.
Destiny, I have a friend that's a professional photographer. He's also a doctor of neuroanatomy and everything, but he has studied headshots with I forget the guy's name, but he's the New York celebrity headshot guy for all the people in news, from Chris Matthews, Juju Chang, all of those folks. But he makes the point, you want your headshot to look like you on your best day, but it needs to look like you, because if you show up and you don't look anything like your headshot, intuitively, there's already a mistrust. What else are you hiding about?
Exactly.
So you've got to communicate the truth of who you are.
And I mean, I even had someone show up to an open house saying, hey, you look exactly like you do on your signs, which says he's probably ran into realtors who look nothing like they do in the business cards. If your business picture is 20 years old, it's probably time to get some new headshots done. And then I would also say, whether it's on an open house sign, a business card, your online profiles, down to your yard signs, that picture should be the same, so that when people are going and driving, they see, oh, there's her sign again. There's Destiny again. She's got all these listings. I need to call her. So be consistent.
Awesome.
So number 6. Last one, guys. Organization is vital. This has been my biggest struggle from day one, coming from being a military childcare provider, where I had to be organized because people would show up unexpected to my house for inspections. Now I don't have that covering anymore. And so, staying organized is something that's so important. And I think it's hard for a lot of us to do. I would say choose a CRM that works for you and then use it. CRM, because we say it all the time, but I actually never knew what it stood for. It's a customer relationship management tool. And so that can be something electronic that you have maybe software for in your computer. I think KW uses Command. Or it could be super analog and old school. For me, I'm much more tactile. So especially with me just recently changing brokerages, I have not yet developed an electronic CRM. So what I do, I have these intake forms that I use that I can put all the information I need down to whether they're a buyer or seller, their time frame, leaving notes, where I got the lead from, and then I can file it accordingly and then go back to that file when I need to. Also, I use my cell phone. Siri's my best friend. Siri, remind me to call Sean at such and such time on Tuesday. That helps me a lot. But whatever CRM system you have in place, use it. Set those automatic emails to go to your clients at least once a week. Your goal is to constantly be touching your clients so that you stay top of mind for them and provide value to them. Take notes. You will not remember everything later. I have failed in that every single time, thinking, okay, I'll go back to that later. And then I don't remember. I have lost out on great opportunities because I did not take the proper notes. As you're talking to clients, one of the things that I always say is, hey, if you hear some dead silence while you're speaking, I'm listening. I'm just taking notes. And what that says to them is, hey, she's actively listening. She's very interested in what I have to say. But it also helps me go back when I'm done with that conversation to type whatever I need to put into my CRM system. Or when I go back to follow up with them, I can then, like John Moran says, hey, remind you, last time we spoke, this is what we talked about. What's our next step? Key organizational tips is put everything in its proper place. My desk gets so chaotic throughout the day. At the end of the day, my goal is to clear my desk, put everything away. I've got a section just for buyers, a section just for listings, people who I'm actively working with, like Julie says, those hot files, people who I need to follow up with next week, next month, in the next quarter. So have a place for everything. Keep it organized, whether it's a file cabinet, a folder system, the Gary Keller Rolodex box, or your CRM. Stick with your schedule, create your schedule, and then stick to it, protect it. That has been the hardest thing I have had to do, but protecting your schedule means you're staying in business for yourself. You're being productive for yourself. If you allow everybody to come into your time, you're not going to generate new business, and then you'll go broke. I like to think of it as, if I were a doctor, I don't let people tell me when they're going to come see me. This is my schedule. these are the hours that I have available for you. What works best for you? And so protect your schedule. So they're not constantly saying, well, I can't meet with you now. I can meet with you, in the morning. I have an appointment in the morning. My lead gen time is in the morning. We can meet from 3 to 6. And that's what works best for me. Protect your schedule at all costs. And then be disciplined and motivated to stay on track. It takes discipline to protect your schedule. It's something I'm still learning to master. It requires you being more assertive with the people that you're working with. I like to even establish that when I first meet them at a listing or buyer's appointment. Hey, this is the time that I'm available for phone calls. You can text me. I promise you I'll get back with you to do showings. These are the times that I do my showings. This is the time where I'm in business for myself. And so that way they know from the very beginning, this is the person you're working with, but it also shows that you're a professional.
Yeah.
Jessica has a question. Do agents go into an office anymore, work from home or office? What do you guys think is better these days? Great question, Jessica. I started before I recently switched brokerages. I was in the office. That worked best for me because I didn't have the distractions of my kids running in, the laundry machine going off and thinking I needed to stop everything to go do laundry and wash dishes. So going into the office for me helped because I was able to just be productive and focus on my work. Everything was in my space. So I didn't have to worry about going to find this file or going to find this piece of paper. Everything was right there. Now that I'm at a new brokerage, we don't quite yet have an office space yet. I've created a bunker in my house that has a door that I close the blinds. When those blinds are closed on that door, that sends the signal to everybody else, mom is working, leave me alone, don't bother me. Even my dad will pop by. He knows when those blinds are closed, don't bother me. So it's about setting those boundaries so that I can be in production in the time that I'm working in this space.
I think it goes back to the be disciplined.
Mm-hmm.
I like your word. It's a bunker. You're in there to work.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got to have a place and a space that when your butt hits it,
Right.
Everything triggers, I'm in work mode.
Right. And that's it. And it can't mean just because you hear the washer machine chime because something's done that you get up to go do that. No, this is my space. This is my time. And I'm clocking in and out every day. And that's how I have to tell myself I've clocked in. Like you said, as soon as my butt hits the chair, I've clocked in for work.
Some people work very well at home, but I've found that most office, it's not conducive to high yield output. Mm-hmm. Generally speaking. Now there's going to be exceptions, but generally speaking, if you can go to an office and then that goes to the people you're around, who you're going to surround yourself with. Don't go to an office with a bunch of losers. Mm-hmm. Go to an office with a bunch of winners. If you don't have an office and you want an office, but the brokerage doesn't have an office, look for vendors. Maybe the mortgage guy has an extra space. Maybe the title people have extra space. Maybe one of your vendors has an extra space. But I agree with Mark. You want to know when I hit whatever place I hit, it's because I'm here to work. And then you can leave work. When you work from home, you never get home and you never go to work. You're always in the same situation. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that's a healthy thing or highest yield thing. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. Does that answer that?
Yeah, I think that the key is it comes back to boundaries. Use your work for your workplace, and then there's a time to clock out. Yep. Right. And don't have it on your couch. Okay. Mm-hmm. So the other piece is
even if you live alone.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So in that, and here I am on the couch, but in about a week I'll have my own home office. Mm-hmm. I think the key here is also have some people that you check in at the start of the day and the end of the day for the accountability, whether it's a team or a team of peers. This starts my day. For many, this starts your day. Right. All right. But what is it that you're going to do to start and end your day for accountability? Mm-hmm.
So apparently Patricia is going door knocking. Is that how I read this? Gonna put bags and hang on doors?
What do you put in bags and hang on doors, flyers and business cards only? I am careful with door knocking. I'll be honest with you. I personally don't door knock a lot just because that kind of scares me. You just never know who's getting ready to answer that door. But I have handed out flyers. I've handed out cookies. Always give something that has your information on it so they know to reference you. I have even, I used to have a t-shirt making business. I created magnets it was like a magnet business card. That way they could pop it on the refrigerator. Every time they went to the fridge, they saw my face and my information. So give them something of value that they can actually use. Julie's really good with that. That they will always think of you when they're using that item if you're going to give anything.
So I'm going to make a statement here. Mm-hmm. If you're going and hanging things on doors, pay a kid a pizza to go do it because your time is more valuable than doing that. The purpose of door knocking is to get into conversation, not hang things on doors. And nothing wrong with hanging on doors, but enlist your kids, give them pizza and go do that. Let mm-hmm. them go do that. But you're in conversation. When you are door knocking, this is what I learned from a friend that was in solar, is stand opposite of the hinge. Mm-hmm. And when they open the doors, already step back a step. And when they open the door, take one more step back and turn sideways in case you need to run. But it's also positioning in a non-threatening way because they see you moving away, not moving toward. And the reason why the opposite the hinge, if you're standing opposite of the doorknob, they can just crack and go, what do you want? If you stand opposite the hinge, they actually have to open up the door. Mm-hmm. But in my estimation, the purpose of door knocking is a conversation, not just putting stuff. There's a time for putting stuff. That's not your highest use of time. Pay a kid something to go do that, right. And then hold them accountable that they did that.
And then a lot of the homes have the Ring doorbells now just like people don't want to talk on the phone, people don't want to come to the door anymore, and they can see you. They know you're there. They don't want to bother you. I have been fussed at through a Ring doorbell and told to go away. So, I think door knocking, it works for some people. I agree with Jessica. There's a lot of HOAs. Most houses do have no solicitation on their door itself. So you're either disturbing them, you're disturbing their dogs, and now they're even more mad at you before they come to the door. So it has to be something that's for you. Do it in a neighborhood where you think people will receive it well. But if you are going to door knock, I agree with Mark, you should be having a conversation and not just leaving something, because then it defeats the purpose. They're probably just going to throw it away anyway and make the best use of your time.
Patricia, one thing I would counsel you on with that is if you're door knocking, it's the same as if you're calling on the phone or you're having any conversation with anybody. Have something of value that they want. Don't waste their time. All right. Don't waste your time. Don't waste anybody's time. Have information about the house for sale down the road, or the one that's sold, or your 3 best deals, or something. And if you want to leave that, I would leave something, a mofer, right? Make offer for immediate response. I love the magnets. I love the stay behind stuff, but I'm a right now guy. What's in for me right now? You'll get some people that respond to the future stuff or whatever, but we're in a what have you done for me lately business, and give them something that'll work for them. And just know that most people aren't ready to buy, sell, or move or whatever. Mm-hmm. You're looking for the ones that are. And then you just want to get that name recognition for the ones that aren't. But again, it is not their job to remember you. It's your job to be there when they need you. So I would worry less about what you leave behind and more about what you're bringing them. And if you're going to leave anything, make sure it's straight and to the point that they understand what the hell it is and why you're leaving it. Like 1 second. Mm-hmm.
John, I was talking to Harrison. One of the things that he said on the magnets, and I like this idea. He said if I do a magnet, it's going to have the kitchen conversion ratios that people can quickly look at it to see how many things are in a quart cup, what have you, with my real estate. He says that's useful, right, and it stays on the refrigerator. If you do something like that, it comes back. Say you print 500 of them. Mm-hmm. Make it your point. I'm not going to drop these. I'm going to say, hey, look, after a conversation, say, hey, look, put this on your refrigerator in case you need to, bake a cake. Mm-hmm. Make the point, the conversation. They're not going to go, oh my gosh, you reminded me how to bake a cake with the conversion of cups to quarts. I'm going to use you. But if you had a good real estate commercial or conversation rather, and that's your collateral, you think about it as the thing that keeps you there. That's what you want to do. Have the powerful real estate conversation.
I would still change it. I'm going to push back. Yeah. Conversions, awesome. What you're going to do is they're going to use your magnet to hold my flyer that says for the 10 best deals, call me. But here's what you do. If you're going to do a magnet, I would put on there, call me for 3 best deals in your area right now. I don't know, something like that. Or call me about how to sell fast for the highest price, something.
Yeah.
That triggers them. Because it goes back to this. Here, hold on one second. It goes back to this. You can bring cows up in the airplane, stick parachutes on them, and signs that say "buy milk." Push them out of the airplane. People are going to look up there and say, "God, look at that. That's really cool. Look at those cows. What does that say? Buy milk." Oh, I got to swing by Walmart and get some milk. Unless you're Walmart, be very, very careful. Right? Or be Walmart. Be the thing that has the value.
I think it can be. I agree with that point, but I also think it does not have to always be real estate related. You can have your real estate information on it. You brought up way back when we were doing Zooms, giving batteries out. And I thought that was brilliant. Hey, your smoke detector is going to start beeping here, in the next quarter. I'm giving you some batteries so that way you don't have to go out and buy them. They're going to remember you. This is the person that brought me batteries.
Battery is so when you knock on the door, they'll open it. Not every time they use the remote, like, holy cow, that guy brought me the batteries.
I bet you they would. Every time they use the remote, Destiny gave me batteries. Oh, it's not working. Destiny gave me batteries. She's probably going to come around next quarter for it.
Fair enough.
So we got Jessica who says, this is good information as I'm starting over in a new area of the country after 20 years in business where I was in a team. So I'm literally starting over. Thank you for all of this. Hey, look, Destiny, you made a comment before we started streaming. I know we're getting long on but it was that you messaged somebody a year ago.
Mm-hmm. I looked at the date on my phone. I started doing these text messages where I would send a video introducing myself. Hey, I just called the neighborhood. Just wanted you to be able to put a face to the voice. My name's Destiny Powell. If you're ever in the need to buy or sell, give me a call. Something as simple as that. And I would send it out to everybody. It took me forever to do. But he messaged me through Facebook. He had my number, but he messaged me through Facebook and said, hey, you reached out to me a year and a half ago. I'm ready to buy or sell now. I'm going through a divorce. So had a great conversation yesterday. We'll be listing next month.
He didn't ask about drinks or dinner, did he?
No.
Well, I think to the point, when we talk about sowing and reaping, you've got to trust the process, because when you sow a seed, it goes into the ground and it looks dead. And that's the faith process of just going, yeah, my job is not to grow it. My job is to keep sowing it, but stay in the field so that when it does sprout, you can take care of it.
Right.
Very good.
Said something. I don't think we notated on that. I didn't want to ignore it. She says she gets dressed for work, even if she's working from home. And I think that's so important because it changes your mindset. That's one thing that I do. If I'm working from home, even if I don't have any appointments to go on, I put my face on, do my hair, and get dressed, because my mindset is I'm a professional at all times. And so I think that helps you mentally as you're working, because you're not just sitting around in your pajamas all day long.
Yeah. 100%. So smart. Cool. What else?
I think that's it. Any more questions?
Cool. Well, that's really good. Here, I'm going to ask you, I wrote a bunch of questions, but I also want to wind this down a little bit. Destiny, take us through your day. You get up. What time are you getting up?
I get up at 5:30.
Every day, once in a while, or what?
Every day. And it's good because I have to get my son up for school. Mm-hmm. So he gets out of the house by 6. And then that's when I start my morning devotional time. I sit down just by myself. That's the good maybe 45 minutes that I have to just myself, that I don't have to share with the kids or work or anything like that. And so I give myself that time to really just pray and get focused and get prepared for my day. I get myself ready for work. And then this is how I start my work day on this call.
Workday starts here at 8 o'clock our time.
Yes.
And then what happens after that?
Then what I do is I go to everybody that I am working actively with right now. I want to make sure that, hey, do I need to schedule anything? Do we need to have a conversation? Do I need to find out what their next step is? Where are we at right now? Who do I need to follow up with right now? Because we are in that hot file, like Julie said.
How long does that take? As long as it takes?
About 30 minutes.
Okay.
It doesn't take long at all.
Then what?
Then I go to any other follow-up calls that I have to make. Who's scheduled? I have sticky notes everywhere, but it's okay. I need to call this set of people today. I haven't talked to them in a week. Let me just see where they're at. Let me stay top of mind for them, because any other realtor can swoop in and steal that from me. So it's staying top of mind, because those are people I may not already have an agreement signed with yet.
Okay, so you have lead follow-up in, and then what?
Then it's lead gen time, and I try to give myself about 2.5 hours, sometimes 3 if I'm having a good day. But
it's
that's
on the phone, door knocking, all of it, some of it. What are we doing?
Dialer. I work a lot with my dialer. I use Mojo.
Okay.
It's great for me. It's a quick turn and burn phone call, but it produces leads, and it keeps me in rotation. It keeps me top of mind, because I'm going through these call lists that I've developed, once a quarter.
Okay. So now we're at what, noon, 12:30?
About noon. Yep.
Okay. Then what?
Quick little break, because I don't want to lose my momentum. If I sit down too long and get distracted, it's hard to get back into my flow. That's when I start making sure I'm organized, taking those notes that I may have forgotten, putting those sticky notes into an intake form, filing those things, and then making sure I'm set up, going and doing my back end work. What fires may I need to put out, at this time? Who do I need to respond to that reached out to me while I was on the dialer?
Where are we at on the clock now?
Probably about 2.
Okay.
By the
What
time
happens
I'm done
then?
with all that. After that, if I don't have an appointment scheduled, if I don't have to go out and do any showings or anything like that, it's basically, again, just managing all the back end things. I like to call that my admin time.
Do you ever jump back into lead generation in the afternoon?
I will sometimes get on my phone and talk to people in my sphere at that time, because those conversations can go a little longer, because you're talking to people, and sometimes they do want to catch up. So that's where I leave all of that. And then I also do thank you notes, and that takes a little bit of time too.
Is this a same schedule every day, or once in a while when you feel like it?
Every day.
So it's a job.
It's a job. Clock in and out.
Routine.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. That's it. That's consistent. That's how you stay consistent. That's how you get in a routine. That's how you just roll. Okay. When you're jumping around, trying different things, whatever, good luck.
Good luck.
You got to try different things. I'm not saying don't try different things. Try different things from time to time, but get in a routine. And when you're in a routine, sometimes it gets boring. Sometimes it gets dull. Mike Ferry used to call it repetitious boredom. That's where the money's made. All right. The reps over and over and over. Okay. That's a great schedule. That is a winner schedule. If you watch us back or you're listening to it, you could do a lot worse than following that schedule. That's for sure. Destiny, you were great.
Thank you.
Very
Thank you guys
good.
for giving me the opportunity.
Real quickly, your conversation script, the one that gets you the most leads when you're circle dialing is what?
Oh, it's a favorite one. And I know we're going to be going over scripts next week with John Marin, but the one that I use that gets me the most business is, I know this call is kind of out of the blue. I'm not going to keep you long, but just wanted to ask the question. If the price were right, and if I could make the numbers make sense to you, would you sell your home now or in the near future?
Easy.
And I'd be quiet and let them talk.
Yep.
Most times people say no, but you don't go down without a fight, and you say no. Well, I know timing is everything. If you were to sell, where would you go next? That's John Marin's favorite line. That gets them to open up. They soften up a little bit and gives you something to write some notes down to.
Yep. So if you're a newer agent, if you're a seasoned agent, if you're a newer seasoned agent, this is a good thing. There's a lot of nuggets in here that are really, really good. Follow it. You do a lot worse. Okay. Yeah. Destiny, awesome. Mark, you have any last words?
Hey, she's laid out gold. Pick it up. Run with it.
So true. Destiny, last words?
No, just go back and rewatch. It's good stuff.
All right, people. So here's the thing. It sounds to me like there's work that needs to be done for success to occur. And I know we all want to lose weight, Ozempic style, right? Eat whatever you want, lose weight, whatever. I think there's gonna be some penalties down the road for that too. But one thing we do know that works over time, historically, all that stuff, you go back and read sales books when you know, they're trying to sell whatever for whatever. Talk to more people about their problems and your solution to their problems, and you will be rewarded handsomely. Okay. Mm-hmm. Make it a consistent, ongoing routine effort, just like Destiny described in her stuff, and you will be so good. So good. All right. There you go. Let's start that right now.
Right now.
We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Bye, guys.
Take care.